Alright, so it is September 15th, 2017, about 7:21 p.m. And there's the McDonald's restaurant in Corydon, Indiana. As you can see, I'm at the traffic light. And there's, I'm going to show you the progress on this McDonald's restaurant. So they've been working on it for a month, remodeling it. I think it was August 12th or August 13th. I think maybe August 13th of 2017. They were working on it. So they're still working on it, remodeling it, and they're definitely making it look ugly. Like the McDonald's restaurant in Clarksville, Indiana. So that's disappointing. It's like a stab in the heart is what it feels like to me. I'm assuming they're going to remodel the inside of it as well. They're making it look like this ugly box style like they got up in Clarksville, Indiana. As you can tell from these videos, I'm not very happy with the way they're making the McDonald's restaurants look. And the McDonald's restaurant up in Clarksville, Indiana is probably my least favorite of the one in my area. Of the new style McDonald's buildings, the McDonald's restaurant in Edwardsville, Indiana, just right off of Interstate Highway 64, but at the Georgetown exit. I like the inside of that one pretty good. It kind of reminds me of the 1980s McDonald's on the inside, but on the outside it's definitely like your new style. The Hardinsburg, Kentucky McDonald's is like really awesome on the outside. Not bad on the inside, other than it's just very small. But anyway, we'll have to see, because from the outside this new McDonald's is also going to resemble the architectural style of the new Taco Bell restaurant in Corydon, Indiana, that they tore down and remodeled, I think, last year in 2016. And so I'll just have to see how it is. Here's my town of Corydon, Indiana. Downtown. You got a little bit of color in the sky, a little bit of awesomeness, maybe a little bit. So here, this town used to be the center of Harrison County, like all the business, all the everything for the most part. If Harrison County was a capital, or no, if Harrison County was a state, then Corydon would be the capital. But anyway, now it's just like a traffic hub. I mean, it is. There's still lots of businesses, downtown. Not all of them have died out, or moved toward the uptown part of Corydon, where we just were. But there's still a lot of businesses. It's just that, like a lot of traffic flows through this town because of the location of it. Oh, and look at this. What am I doing? I'm stopping at a stop sign. How about that? Not everybody in this community does that. Lots of bad driving. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour for friends of mine on the internet. I might go to this place right here, BR Graphics. I might go to there and see if they can get me, do me an embroidered logo on a shirt for my Computing Paradise work uniform. This was the last full-service gas station downtown, but it's out of business. Oops. Actually, I do got the right of way, but it's green now. I just want to make sure. That used to be Jim's Arcade 25 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, they're renovating this building too. There's the new park. There. Oh, wow. They're definitely renovating this building here. Yeah, how about that? So we're in downtown Corydon, Indiana, the heart of downtown. Wow, they're changing that too. There's Butt Drugs, the famous Butt Drugs. Point Blank. Nathan Blank owns that business. He apparently does a really good job managing these businesses that he's got, because they just keep growing and growing. Every time I walk down through this area during business hours, it's packed full of people. I've ate there before. It's not bad. I've been in there a few times. That building is really old. They're putting a little bit of effort into it. There's the telephone company building where I went into to pay the phone bill with my mom when I was a little kid. And I will go to the fairgrounds. That was the famous Allstott's Ace Hardware for almost all of my lifetime. There's the Harrison County Fairgrounds right over there. How about that? Nice. That was the red and white grocery store back in the late 70s, early 80s. There's the Harrison County Fairgrounds. Nice place. People walking around getting exercise, which is good. There used to be a chain link fence around here whenever I was a kid. They tore it down a couple of years ago. There used to be a horse stable right there where you're looking at. This used to be Kitterman Motors for like almost all my lifetime. There used to be a house right there in that parking lot when I was a kid. All these little houses are all grown up and stuff. Lots of neat places around here. I mean, I'm recording these videos for my kids, so they'll see what the town looked like whenever they were a kid, because it's changed a lot from whenever I was a kid. And this is, one's own journey. The house is all grown up. Oh, you never know there's a house there. It's all... I remember when they built this gazebo, and it was back there in the late 1980s. That gazebo's been there for at least 30 years. Man, oh man, this is my old neighborhood from I lived here from 1981 up until early 1986. That house that's where Christopher used to live. It looks identical on the outside from how it did 33 years ago. There, we're on, getting ready to go on William Street. Oh, this is such a nice place. Oh, I used to go trick-or-treating here in the early to mid-1980s. It was so awesome. This mailbox is still the same. The chain, oh man, they didn't change it. We used to hang out here. Travis used to live here in that house. This house there was never there whenever I was a kid. I forget who lived there. There's my house right there. Not the one I own, but that's where I lived. 238 William Street. Back in 1981 through up to 1986. These two houses were never there. Oh, this used to be Russell's house. I remember. This is where Elvis and Mildred Reed used to live at 248 William Street. Oh, man. So my kids will definitely like this. Now, you see this house there? That used to be our garden back in 1984, 1985. My dad used to grow cucumbers and corn. So that used to be Russell's house back in the 1980s. So these houses were never there. They built these in like the late 90s or something like that. But yeah, there's the house that right there, 238 William Street. That's where I used to live whenever I was a little kid. That house never was there whenever I was a kid. That building was there with the garage doors. Oh, the vandalism. Oh, man, this is awesome. And, yeah, we used to go through here. I think I dressed up as Beast Man one time back in, like, Halloween of, like, 1985 or something. Back when He-Man was popular. Now we're on Country Club Road. I remember when they put this up there. And there used to be some trees out here. I remember when they first started putting the buses there in the mid-1980s. There used to be trees there. You can still see where the hump where there was. And this used to be our garden down there. Back in the mid-1980s. I remember that school. Yeah. And then this is a nursing home here where we used to visit people. I never realized it was actually that close to the house. Now I remember hearing the noise, the construction noise, back in around 1984. I believe it was. Whenever they were building this school. I remember when they were building this. Oh, there we go. Some people at the ball game. They're all having fun. And, yeah, my brother-in-law and my sister and all them are probably there, and their friends. Now, I went to kindergarten here back in the 1980s. About 1985, I believe it was. There's the Corydon school where they built it whenever I was a kid. But now this is the Corydon Elementary School. Oh, man. Look at this. I can drive and video record at the same time safely. Oh, he's got the stop sign. I don't have the stop sign. Okay. Yep, this side of the building still looks identical to how it was whenever I was a kid. Yep, that looks like it has not changed in 30 some odd years. Man, it really looks the same from the outside. This part as well. Yeah, I still remember when they were fingerprinting us, they had police come in there for like the Lost Children program, you know, so it's like they show you the importance of that sort of thing. Like if a child gets lost, fingerprint identification. Here's the playground there from whenever I was a kid. Some of that swing sets are still original. There's a tennis court. Yeah, still original from the early 1980s. Even I think they were setting it up in the 1970s. Now here's the rehab facility, also known as like a nursing home center, nursing home, where my dad was living whenever he died last summer. So he was living in there, that end wing of it. So it's Kindred, what is it, Indian Creek facility there. There's like a lot of old houses that have since fallen down here. Yeah, look at that old house. They're probably haunted with ghosts. Ooh, the ghosts probably live in there because it's coming up on Halloween pretty soon. I mean, it's September 15th right now, but it'll be Halloween soon enough. Little houses like this one right here. Oh, look at that little house. That's old. It's like, I don't know if that's a sinkhole they filled up. There's mailboxes around here. So this hill is kind of frightening or whatever whenever, or like during the winter time. And then I'll show you the house that my parents lived at whenever I was born in 1980. So I think it's 302 Beachmont Drive. Oh, look at that house. They're all so old. So let's count it. So I believe it was, I think it's that one, the blue. They changed the siding since then. Okay, there's 302 right there. I think that's the house I was born in. Well, not born inside the house, but my parents lived there whenever I was born. We're still in Corydon, Indiana. I remember that place. My grandpa or my dad took me there to get like chainsaw worked on. There's a Tyson meat packing plant over that way. And RV park. Here's another part of the RV park. Now this bridge, I think, was redone in 1997. I think it was into its current form. It used to sit lower. Oh, look what they're doing to the house. Crazy. This area floods out sometimes pretty badly. He'll come out of the manhole cover. The flood waters will. Yeah, they're working on this park here. So we just drove through here just a little while ago. Right here, there used to be the laundromat building. Right about where I'm sitting, actually. Yeah, right in kind of around there. It used to be kind of around there, because I remember, yeah. Now it's the Bicentennial Park. And you get to see all this stuff that they're doing. This was a parking lot. I remember right over there, they used to have parking meters there whenever I was a kid. So hopefully they don't tear down any of these buildings. Yeah, they're really renovating this kind of stuff. There's the back of that church from what we saw earlier. Now Lisa's Bar right over there, I think they started that in 1998. That's been car dealerships and all kind of stuff in the past. But in 1993, Jim's Arcade moved there temporarily before Jim's Arcade went out of business. So, yeah. Oh man, look at this. Corydon, Indiana. Corydon. So even after the creek has been widened quite a bit, it still floods. And we're stopping at the sign, putting on turn signal because we want to be a competent driver. Looking both ways. Looking there. There used to be a building there a year ago, or 2 years ago, but the floodwaters kept tearing it up. That's that Art Deco building from the late 1920s. That used to be Jim's Arcade back in 1992. Oh yeah, it was awesome. And now I think I'm going to end this recording. It is 7:39 p.m. on the evening of September 15th, 2017.